What's your name and what brought you to Zeitgeist Media Festival?
I am Benjamin Joseph Stewart, and what brought me to the Zeitgeist Festival was specifically Shar, the event coordinator, and non-specifically is just the essence that brought me out here was the same art that Peter tapped into. It's the same art that brought everyone else here. It was tonight was meant to go off like it was tonight, and it was beautiful. So, like, just proud to be a part of it.
I agree. Secondly, what role do you think art plays in influencing culture?
Art, to me, is the alpha and omega of all of it. It's everything that I base the music on, the films on. I believe art is what inspires people in any direction. Now, I mean, to me personally, I believe there's 4 pillars to any society. You go back through history, you'll always find them. You always find philosophy, religion, science, and art in every single culture without fail. And the reason why I believe that it ends with art is because I believe art unifies philosophy, religion, and science. Yeah, in a sense. It's if I can give an analogy, philosophy is I want to go from point A to point B. Religion is you actually enacting those forces that you have inherent within you from birth to do it. Science is those vehicles, those modalities, those technologies that we allow us to help ourselves, to that point, like a car, to get us from point A to point B, or our body to get us from point A to point B. And art is the alpha and the omega. It's the completion of all of it. So in the tarot, the Fool goes through the major arcana, goes on this long journey. Why? Because it's art. Why do we send Frodo on this, horrible trip, all the way to that, I forget what it was called. Mordor. So why do we throw these heroes into shit just to bring them back out to be the victor? Why couldn't we just start them off as being the victor? And there's a kernel of truth in there that I love bringing about, because it's art to show there's a reason why we go into the underworld, and we emerge from it, because then those who bear witness to it see the art of it. And so they're seeing the seed, the kernel of truth in there that isn't physical. All it is it's like a child watching their father problem solve. Now, maybe it was a problem on the car, but later on, the persistence that the father had was the seed that had that child overcome any other problem. It could be any problem. So the child didn't just learn how to work on a car, learned how to problem solve by using inspiration. All art is inspiration to overcome any obstacle. That's what it is to me. It's a voice, it's a communication, it's the alpha and omega of all of this.
And then lastly, how do you think art would change, or the role of an artist would change in the event that we can eliminate this profit motive? If the need to kind of fit a market gap wasn't there anymore, and they weren't hindered anymore by that profit motive. If they could just, if you could just do art you don't have to worry about the money situation or anything like that. You're just doing what you love.
Well, I'll be perfectly honest. I think that art is so profound right now because of the problems that it's having, because of the problems that we see in the world. Art, like I said, is a catalyst to all change and all transition. So in these stressful times, art is what brings about change, nothing else. Art, the creativity, the ingenuity, that intuition, all of that comes, that artistic expression is the only thing that moves us past any type of obstacle or barrier or riddle to unravel, So I believe that as we move on, it's kind of hard to say what it would be without these problems as of right now, but what I would say is art at that point will be exactly what it needs to be then to get to the next step in the journey. So as of right now, our art is the perfect catalyst for the transition that we need right now as a species. However, let's say that the economy just magically bounces back. Let's say that everybody just decides that war is bullshit. Let's just say that everybody decides that all we want to do is make music and paint and get involved with what we would call the industry of art, which I believe is just a reflection of what art truly is, I believe then art would take on a whole different meaning that I can't even really empathize with. I can't even really envision what that would be, because as of right now, I'm still with humanity dealing with the problems that we have. So it's kind of one of those, let that come when it comes, we'll cross that bridge when it gets there. Art will change, it always does. Art has changed throughout history, and I believe that where we are right now is exactly where we need to be to learn about ourselves inside and out.
Absolutely. Would you say that, related to that same topic though, that the current system that we live in is somewhat serving as a hindrance because of the fact that a lot of people don't get access to the art? There's all these subcultures, we have underground and indie forms of art. Why does that exist? Why is there a mainstream culture and then a subculture that is less accessible to the general public? Do you think that the profit motive has something to do with that?
Well, absolutely, but see, what I believe art to truly be, art is that thing within us that allows us to communicate anything from what, this is an art, what we're doing. We use language as our communication. If I didn't have that, maybe I would write it down. If I didn't have that, maybe I would write a song. But the thing is what is the art? Is the art the actual painting? Is the art the sculpture? Is the art the music? Or is it what needs to be expressed? Or is it the person receiving what is being expressed? I don't know how to specifically answer that, but I believe that the way that art is right now, I can't say that anything is hindering it, because our art right now is a reflection of exactly what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the way that I would say that is,
I could rephrase it.
Okay.
Do you think that this underground art and the indie art and this subculture is more truthful than the art that is kind of portrayed in the mainstream?
No.
No.
No, and the reason why I would say that is because I don't believe that anything is not truthful, because even lies are truthful in a sense. It depends on the way you receive it. So, like, do you buy the lie? And so in the media, you could say that they're liars and they never say a true word whatsoever, but the thing is they're expressing themselves exactly the way that they are, exactly the way they feel they need to. If they didn't feel they needed to, they would be out of that business. Yeah. So that is more for them to discover. So I believe our art is also for us to discover. When I'm on stage and when I'm singing or when I'm creating a documentary, I'm learning more than anybody who watches the documentaries. Anybody who listens to the music, I'm learning of myself more and more because I'm realizing my art as it comes. Yeah. So what I would say to that is there's really no lying, because this was even in V for Vendetta. Good artists use lies to tell the truth. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a beautiful way of saying it, because no matter what avenue you take to get to the truth, the avenue is like that journey that Frodo goes on. And really all art is an expression of what that is within. And I'll give an example. A child, let's say a child witnesses something that he or she does not know how to process and has anger, so much anger inside, but is so young that there's no voice for that. The child doesn't know how to voice that. The only thing that that the child feels is, say, this anger, this energy that's coming out, and the only way that he or she knows a way to voice that is to say, "I hate you," or to hit you. Now, is that exactly what the child wants to express? No. So the art of it is not really the hitting or the words or the vehicle of it. The art is that essence that carries it. Yes, and what is being communicated. So it is just as much of an art form for us to understand how to perceive art. So when you're listening to a song, I've had this many times where I've watched a movie 5, 6, 7 times, and then all of a sudden somebody says, "Oh yeah, I love that film because it kind of touches upon this." And then I'll go back and I'll watch it and be like, "I love this film now." Why? Not because the film changed, but because I perceived it differently. Now, where was the art? What happened with the art? The art changed to me. Yeah. So that was me. My art was a discovery. The film is art, yes, and other people take it the way they do, but I realize that if I'm constantly challenging my beliefs, if I'm constantly looking at it the way I choose to look at it in every single moment, being perfectly aware of the fact that it doesn't matter if somebody wants to harm me, yeah. It matters if I choose to accept that harm or not. If somebody wants to say a harsh word towards me, do I choose to accept that? Do I choose to allow that to be a part of the way that I'm going to react? And how do I react? And there's no right or wrong answer to say react this way, react that way. It's all self-expression, and that's why, you know, the alpha and omega art is really exactly what we choose it to be. And I think that's what all this is about. We are choosing how we want to express ourselves now. Post 9/11, 10 years later, look at how beautiful it is to have so many people coming together. This wasn't really possible pre 9/11 because everybody was so comfortable in exactly the state that they were. And exactly, and the catalyst wasn't there. Now, if it wasn't 9/11, it would have been something, because all that it is a message trying to make its way to the people from our, if you want to say it's our higher self, you know, to our lower self, or if you want to say there's different chambers of our intelligence that are trying to communicate within us, and the only way to do it collectively is to have a large catalyst for it to say, okay, this gives me a voice. Okay, the Zeitgeist film gives me a voice for something that I've already been feeling. The music that we do is really a permission that opens up within people to make them, or to allow them, gives them permission to be more of what they already are and what they've been wanting to say, but they didn't have a conduit, a vehicle, a voice for it. And that's what art is, a voice.
Okay. Perfect, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Very good talking to you. Keep doing what you're doing.